Well, hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jason Ferguson, and just want to thank you guys for joining us today. I hope it's as beautiful where you are as it is here in sunny Decatur, Illinois. It's an awesome day today. So today we are going to be talking about heat mapping your top Med Supp carriers. And about a month ago, John Hockaday and Jeff Sams did a video talking about their top picks for AEP this year. And to be clear, this isn't an exhaustive list. It's not every good carrier. It's just some highlights. So things change all the time, and all these carriers might not be your perfect match, but what we're going to do here today is kind of learn how to use a tool and find out what is hot in your area, what's competitive and what's not. So today we have Anna Patrick. She's Director of Strategic Partnerships at CSG Actuarial, and that's the people that make the awesome quoting tools that you guys all use. She helps us and agents like you to understand how to use those tools to drive sales and evaluate the Medicare market. She's going to demonstrate how to use the Market Edge Heat Map tool to see, which ones of those companies are most competitive for you. But before we dive into that, we're just going to run through some of those top picks that John and Jeff had from a month or so back. And I'll pop that link in the chat in case you missed it a little bit later in the presentation. But real quick, Anna, we had these 8 carriers that they picked, and we're just going to hit some highlights. So first things first, and these are in alphabetical order, these aren't a ranking of what we think is best compared to each other, but these are just alphabetical. So we have ABL, American Benefit Life. They've got a red, yellow, and green underwriting system. Some great bonuses. 15 apps gets you a trip to Las Vegas. And if I understand correctly, those same apps also count toward the Norway trip, which is an awesome cruise. And they have some really good rates. Okay, next up is ACE. Brand new to the market, super out rates. They've got a Q4 bonus of $250 per underwritten app. So that's easy to get behind. Aetna, Ascendo, and CVS Health, we kind of all put those together under the same umbrella. Good rates underwriting, and overall service is top notch. And they have a Q4 bonus, $100 per underwritten e-app. Okay, moving on. Manhattan Life, solid rates and underwriting, great signature process, $100 per underwritten case, Q4 bonus. CSO, these guys have been around since the CSI days, done business with them for a long time. Very stable rates, $150 per underwritten case bonus. Medico's just updated their My Enroller enrollment system. They've got some interesting rates all over the place. We thought they were going to be just hot in the metro areas, but that's not always the case. $175 bonus per underwritten case for Medico. Mutual Omaha, one of the most recognizable names in the industry. Consumers love them. They treat their agents right, and their rates are competitive, and their bonus is currently $150 per underwritten case. And last fall, Lumico. Their bonus is really interesting. 5 to 9 issued underwritten apps. Those first 5 to 9, you can get $200 each. And then it's a tiered system from there, all the way up to 30 apps. If you get over 30 apps, that bonus goes to $260 per app. So that's a pretty sweet bonus.
Jason, I think I need to start being an insurance agent.
Yeah, right.
These great incentives and all these extra bonuses. Wow, there's some great opportunity there for these agents.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So Anna, I'm going to turn it over to you and show us how this tool works.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I saw that video that you guys did, and I had to reach out and say, okay, let's start heat mapping these carriers, because I know it's always great to start talking about all the different carriers, but then it's just trying to figure out what's when you are writing them, where should I be writing them? Where should I be focusing on? Where are the opportunities with these different carriers? So a lot of you have known CSG for just being able to provide quotes, but we kind of can go beyond just providing quotes and really make it easy for you to see how competitive carriers are nationwide. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here, and hopefully I'm sharing the right screen. I have CSG here pulled up onto my page here now, whether you guys are using your branded tool or using CSG through Medicare Center, it's all going to have the same features that you see here. So again, most of you are used to this screen or have used us just to do your quotes. But today we're really going to be focusing in on this Market Edge tool. That's where our heat mapping is at. So when you're on this dashboard page, if you click on Market Edge, run search. And then at the very top, we're going to go into this button called Go to Rate Comparison. So these are our carrier heat maps. So we're going to go through each of those companies that Jason just mentioned and really show you where they are competitive at. And I love these heat maps because they're really custom to you, and you can run as many maps as you would like. And again, I think every agent that uses this tool, their maps are going to be different because you're looking at different things. You're comparing companies to other companies. So I'm going to spend a quick probably 2 minutes going over how you can initially run the search and then what the results look like for the first carrier. And then the remaining carriers, we're going to go through those searches pretty quickly because once you get comfortable running one map, you'll be comfortable running multiple maps. So initially for the states, we can select all, or if you just wanted to select certain states, you could do that. You have different options for a comparison type. So it defaults to zip 3 because most companies price by a zip 3. You not necessarily don't have to drill down to a zip 5. And then if you do a state, it will take an average. And as I show you these maps, you're going to see how certain carriers are competitive in certain pockets of these states and not others. So that's why I do recommend keeping it at that default zip 3. And then from there, you can move your effective date forward. So we're going to look at just 11/1, for example. It is looking at the rates that are currently in the quoting tool today. And then from there, we're going to start adjusting our plan type. So you can run whichever type of plan types you want to. We're going to go through a couple of different examples here in today's training of doing a G or an N or an F. Keep in mind, if you're in states that don't have those standard plans, so like Minnesota or Massachusetts or Wisconsin, you have some extra options to select their base plans if you wanted to also heat map those. But again, you can just select one plan G. Don't do a plan G and a plan F because it won't give you the correct type of map. So just select one, and then you can do tobacco or non-tobacco. And then from here, you can select your age. So we're going to run through a couple examples here. I'm going to see this first one we're going to do is a plan G, and we're going to do a 67-year-old. Age female, and then we are going to apply household discounts to this. So we're going to apply household discounts. So looking to see how competitive they are with that household discount. I'm going to include the demographics on this map. I want to also show you how we can see what are those opportunities like in areas where they're really competitive at. Select plans would just be including select plans in your search or not. Sometimes those select plans have a lower premium, so that may skew the data a little bit. So I don't include them, but if you sell select plans, you may want to. And then here's where we're going to select our primary company. So the primary company is that company that we are looking at. So I'm just going to start again in alphabetical order. We're going to take a look at American Benefit Life. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select that particular company. Now, when you're selecting your primary company, I'll go through a couple of examples because we're going to map companies that may have multiple charters. You'll be able to select each of those charters. That way, if they have a charter in one state and another charter in another state, you're still doing one map. And I'll get to that here in a couple of other examples, but we're just going to select American Benefit Life. They only have one charter that they release their plans off of. And here's where you're going to start comparing American Benefit Life to the companies that you do business with. So we have some options here, and this is where we're going to start customizing a lot of this. So with the companies, we can say we want to compare American Benefit Life to everybody. That's where we would select all. Otherwise, if you want to just select them to the companies that you do business with, that's where you would start typing them in. So let's say you write a lot of Aetna. You want to compare American Benefit Life to Aetna. I just type in Aetna and I'm going to select all. So these are all of the Aetna charters. So you see
Hey, Anna,
Continental.
sorry to interrupt. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, I can try to.
Thank you.
Yep. Is that better?
Yeah, it looks better to me.
Okay. So we're going to select those, all the Aetnas. And then from there, we're going to also look at Mutual of Omaha. So I'm going to type in Omaha. And then I'm going to make sure I have Mutual of Omaha, Omaha Insurance, Omaha Supplemental, United Worlds. I'll have to type in United World to find them as well. So I have the mutuals, the Aetnas, and let's type in Cigna. Again, these are kind of a lot of the name brand companies that are in the market that you may sell with. So again, you can customize this map however you would see fit. And we're going to go through a ton of different examples there, but this is just the first map. And then your comparison values 5 to 10, that's the default. So what that is telling you is I'm going to hit generate here on my map too and explain those. So when we run this map, the areas of green is where they have the lowest premium. The areas of yellow is where their premium is within $5 of the lowest rate. The areas of orange is where their premium is within $5 to $10, and then red is where their premium is $10 or greater. So here's a nice map that generated for me here. So you do have this little toggle here. So you can see that color codes that I went through with the 5 and the 10. So that's where we can adjust it, and we'll start adjusting it for some other maps. But then you can kind of see a summary of what we did. So we did American Benefit Life, and these are the companies we compared their rates to. So that's what that looks like. So we can see here, very green map, very competitive. If you sell that Aetna, Mutual, and Cigna, American Benefit Life would stack up as most competitive compared to those companies. So as you hover over each of the different areas, it's going to tell you where their premium dollar is away from the lowest rate or how competitive they are. So for example, I'm hovering over this Illinois zip code. They're the most competitive by $3.91. You'll also notice we're bringing in the demographic information as that was an option on the search toggle. So not only are they really competitive, but what's that population turning 65 and over age 65? So for this case, we did a 67-year-old. So looking at that over age 65. So a lot of opportunity. And these maps are great because you can hover over. Super competitive here in Kentucky. You can see that was like $21, $8 in Georgia, $17, Alabama. So you can really see how competitive they are. Even when you're looking at areas of yellow where they're not the lowest, but they're very, very close. So they're only $1.26 away from the lowest rate. Areas of orange, in this case, $6.21 away from the lowest rate. So again, compared to those companies that we compared it to. So this is just one map. This is American Benefit Life. So if you want to take a look at here and see, okay, let's say you do a lot of business in Georgia. Okay, so where are some areas around Georgia that you can start expanding into that this would be a good company to promote and get leads in those other areas, right? So this is how you can really use it to figure out where you should be selling these companies at. Maybe you really like that bonus structure or want to qualify for one of those trips that Jason mentioned. This allows you an opportunity to see where else you can be selling those companies to qualify to get more apps. So this is just one map here where I'm going to show you a couple of other carriers just to highlight them. I won't walk you through all of the kind of search parameters, but I am going to just kind of pull up a couple of other examples here. So the next one I want to show you is, this is Medico. So this was, we heat mapped Medico here. And Medico, we did some different parameters. So with Medico, looking at this map here, what we did is we compared a G, age 68, female, and then we took all three of Medico's charters, so Medico Insurance, Medico Corp, and Medico Health and Life. And in this case, we compared Medico to some of those integrity exclusives that you guys probably hear a lot about. So we're comparing them to Aflac, Union Security, Ellipse, Central States, Allstate, ACE, Ascendo, American Benefit Life, and then the Humana Achieve. So those were the companies that I selected when I ran this map. So what's also kind of unique, and this what I did here as well on this map, is I changed those comparison values. So instead of it being 5 and 10 at the very bottom, I changed those to 3 and 5. So you can see here, even though they're yellow in some pockets, they're still within $3 of being the lowest rate. So I just wanted to show you a couple of different examples how you can customize these. But this is a great example to see how some carriers are just competitive in certain pockets, or maybe they do want rural or urban, just looking at the demographics. So where they're competitive at areas where there's, more urban than rural. And then you can see here as I hover over these areas, especially the areas of green, is where they're competitive at and how competitive they are. So again, yeah, even in the yellow, and this is the one map that I really wanted to customize here for you, just because I saw how competitive they were, even being within $3. So just being able to see those on this map. What's great about these maps is that you can save them too. So if you want to save your searches, or if you want to export them as a graphic, you could do that as well. So that is Medico's kind of competitive landscape. Let's look at another one. We're going to look at ACE. Sorry, I went a little bit out of order here, alphabetical order, but ACE is another great one. So with ACE here, what we did is that we did a 65-year-old Plan G. We did a female, but we compared ACE to every single company in the market. So you can see how competitive they are compared to everybody. And we know that you're not necessarily contracted with every single company. So if you ran your own ACE map against just the companies that you do business with, you may see a ton of green on this map, kind of similar to how we saw in the American Benefit Life. Whereas if I only compared them to certain companies, they were very competitive. Also on this map, I changed my comparison values to 3 and 5 instead of that default of 5 to 10, because I knew they were competitive and still within $3. So this is what's really interesting to me, because even though they're yellow in this map, they're so close to being the lowest rate, only by 38 cents here. So again, looking to see that there's 24 cents in Illinois. And I think that the carrier that is beating them may or may not beat them with that household discount. So that's also something to keep in mind too, is if that household discount is playing into effect with those rates. But again, seeing it just $1.23 away, but again, very competitive in Pennsylvania and Kansas and Georgia, and a pocket here down in southern Texas, or I guess middle of Texas. But what I like about these maps is that you can also zoom in. So let's say you see the map and you want to start looking at the cities. If you can continue zooming in, and it's going to break out for you where those are located. So if you want to see, oh, what pocket was that, or what city here in Texas, all you have to do is zoom in to see that. So I think that's like the Austin area, close to it, or let's see here. I don't know Texas as well as other states, but yeah, you can see some of that there. But yeah, feel free to zoom in just to see what those different cities and are where they are competitive at. So that's ACE. Looking at another one here, and I'm gonna map one out for you now, just so you can kind of see how I've been mapping these, just so you can get an idea too. We're gonna go ahead, and again, you can just hit this new button at the very top to kind of start your new map. We're gonna take a look at another one here. And sometimes you just may want to compare companies against each other too. I know a lot of time I talk to agents and they always have, you know, their 3 go-to carriers or their 2 go-to carriers. So you can create these as custom as you'd want to. So in this example, I'm going to do a Mutual of Omaha. So I'm going to select all for states. I'm going to move my effective date forward to 11/1. My plan type, we're going to look at a plan F. So I know a lot of those other plans we were doing G's. We're going to change it over to plan F. And for my age, we're going to move it up to 70, just because they can still qualify for a plan F. And hopefully can still pass underwriting. So we're going to look at a female. Actually, we're going to move that up to 72. Sorry, I'm going to move that up to 72. I am going to leave that blank. That's where you can include those select plans or include those demographics. And then my primary company, this is where I want to show you how you can select those multiple subsidiaries. So if I start typing in Omaha, you can see I can select Mutual of Omaha, Omaha Insurance, Omaha Supplemental, United of Omaha. And then we'll have to find that United World. So I have all 5 of their subsidiaries. And let's just say I want to compare them to Aetna, just seeing how competitive they are. I can then select all for all of the Aetna companies. I can leave that comparison to 5 and 10. Remember some of those previous maps, I changed this to 3 and 5. And then from there, all I have to do is hit generate. So some of these maps I did kind of pre-populate for you, so we didn't have to spend too much time going through how to run the map parameters. Again, as I kind of talked about initially the first time, we can now run through those a little bit quicker. But I did want to show you here, sometimes it does take some time to generate the map. That's why we did run a lot of them ahead of time for you, just to save time. But this map, it's going to generate here for me. Again, we're looking at Mutual of Omaha's companies, looking at a female, age 72, plan F, and we're just comparing Mutual to Aetna. In this particular case. And then the next map we'll run, we'll just look at Aetna and we'll see where they're competitive at with some other carriers that you may be doing some business with.
Yeah, and I don't know if we didn't discuss this, maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but have you looked at the new carrier that took over, Allstate, with their multi-plan discount? Have you run any of those?
Just sign me out here. We have not ran an Allstate map yet, but if agents are wanting one, we absolutely can.
Just curious, there's some pretty steep discounts there.
Yes, there are a lot of good discounts. And even when you're running the maps, you can select which plan you want to look at with the discounts. And I can kind of go over that too if you have agents that have any questions on Allstate. Let's see. Okay, so again, this is where we're just looking at Mutual of Omaha, comparing them just to Aetna. So again, just trying to give you a lot of different examples on how you can use these maps and how all these maps are going to look different based upon what you're really putting into those parameters. So if you are looking to do those underwritten apps, I know Jason mentioned that there were some carriers that were offering some pretty awesome extra bonus for underwritten apps, that's where you may want to come in here and look to see where those carriers are competitive for underwritten. So, maybe 68 all the way up to 72. That's where you can really come in here and really tailor these maps. So again, it does take some time to generate these. So that's why a lot of times we did run these maps ahead of time for you. So we weren't wasting too much time of it generating. As that one is generating for us, I do have one that's already pre-populated that I'll load in here. This one, we did a plan N. As you can see here, we did a plan N. We did a 67-year-old. We looked at Manhattan Life. So this is the Manhattan Life. We compared Manhattan Life to Cigna's companies, Mutual of Omaha's companies, Aflac, Allstate, Aetna, I think I mentioned them as well. So those were the kind of the companies that we compared them to. And you can see Manhattan's pretty competitive with that plan N. So if your clients are looking for maybe a lower monthly premium, moving that over to a plan N instead of a plan G, this would be another great company, very competitive for that plan N. A lot of these carriers, you'll notice even when you run quotes or you do these heat maps, they may be more competitive for certain plan types and different age brackets as well. So Manhattan Life, this would be a very good one if you're looking for a good plan N. You can see here just how competitive they are if I hover over these areas. Again, even areas of yellow where they're still going to be within $5, only $1.53 within the $3. So that's a great company there to look at. This other map that we did here, we did Ellipse. So this was a plan G, 67-year-old female. We took a look at the Ellipse and Lumico. So there are certain states where they have Ellipse, and then there's certain states where they have Lumico. So I did select both, and we're comparing them to everybody in the market. So again, keep in mind when you see some of the red or the orange, we're comparing them to everybody, and we know that you're not contracted with everybody, but still wanting to show you their landscape and where they are competitive at for this particular plan. You can see here in Upper Florida, competitive, Kentucky, and then again, even those areas of yellow still within $5, still competitive. $3, $4 away from being the lowest rate. Again, this is comparing them to everybody in the market.
Yeah, and it may be important to just note that red isn't necessarily bad. It's just in relation to other carriers. And it also depends on what your search parameters are.
Right. Yep. So many different options. There. I don't know what's going on with my Mutual of Omaha app. I don't know what's going on there. Let me show you though, for those of you that are interested in an Allstate map, we can absolutely take a look at that. What's really interesting too about Allstate is they have those different rating classes. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, I'll select all companies here. And we'll move this up. And we'll do a 65-year-old. And they are really competitive for 65-year-old plan G. So that's what we'll do. We do track quoting trends within what agents are quoting. And again, the plan F 65-year-old is going to be the most quoted plan within CSG, definitely. It's interesting to see that there's a lot of agents that are still quoting plan F, and that plan N is ticking up and the plan F is going down. But 65G, that's what everyone's quoting. Let's go ahead and apply household discounts to this, and we'll include those. We'll not include select plans, but we do want to include the demographics, just so you can also tie into the opportunity in the areas where they're really competitive at. So let's say we're looking at Allstate, and as you type in Allstate, you're going to notice you have all of these different rating classes here. So they have a preferred, they have a wearable discount. They also have one that they qualify for a preferred and a wearable, which is going to be their most competitive rate. And then we are applying household discounts. So they have 2 household discount options. They have a dual and then a household. So if I'm just going to look at their preferred select wearable, that's their most competitive one. But if you do run quotes in the CSG quoting software and you're looking at Allstate, that preferred select, the wearable, and then the preferred select wearable are all kind of boom, boom, boom. They're still all very, very competitive if you're looking at that. So we can compare them, and let's just compare them to everybody in the market. So again, if you're comparing them to everybody in the market, all you have to do is that select all, and then we can go ahead and hit that generate button. And as that's generating, I am going to pull up the quoting tool on the Med Supp side, just so you can see here what I mean if you're not familiar with running those plans within there. I can show you what that looks like here. Map over. Got a lot of screens open, a lot of browsers, but we will get there. If anybody else wants to see any companies' maps, we can absolutely do that. If anyone wants to see anybody else.
Let's say I'm just logging into CSG, whether it's through Medicare Center or directly through, how do I get here? Just from the
Yeah, I'll go over that. And I just realized one thing within there that I'll have to change on here when I do this map. So because it wasn't showing up as all of those companies, and I think I know why. I'm just going to select. Sometimes the with the rating classes, they don't have every single rating class for the age. So let me just fix that here, and then I will pull up. This is what happens when you do things live. I don't like to go off PowerPoint just because it's so easy just to show agents how to use it step by step, that I don't like. It's hard to explain things with PowerPoint. So I apologize for anybody that's.
No, there's definitely a rule in the universe that if you're doing something live, something will always go wrong.
Okay, so while that's generating, I will pull up Medicare Center. So if you log into Medicare Center, I'm just going to show you here on the screen. If you wanted to access the CSG quoting software through Medicare Center, when you sign in here over by your name, over here on the right-hand side, you'll just click this down button, and then all you have to do is click on this CSG app right here, and that takes you into that CSG dashboard page, which looks like this, but it's just branded to Medicare Center. So that's what it looks like. And then to run those quotes, all you have to do on that dashboard page is click on that Medicare supplement. What's unique about being and running your quotes on CSG is you are going to see 100% of the market when you're inside Medicare Center. So that's unique as well. I think I have too many browsers open, which is why it's getting mad at me a little bit. I don't think the mapping likes all the Allstate different plans here.
That is a lot of data to crunch.
It is a lot of data. And my computer's not liking me. It's being a little slow. We can see it's starting to generate. Let me see if I can get the. All right, so when you're running your quotes, I'm just going to type in a zip code. So if you are running your Med Supp quotes in here, all you have to do is type in that zip code, your age, your gender, your tobacco status, how you want to sort. Most agents will sort by price. You can change your plan type. So we're going to start with a G here. You can always adjust that. And then you can always move your effective date forward. If you want to include household discounts or not include household discounts, you can select that. Once you run your quote, you would be able to toggle those household discounts on and off too, so that you don't have to go back and rerun a quote just to apply discounts. You can just do a little check mark to apply those discounts. But what I'll show you here with the Allstate, and you'll be able to see these. You can see in this particular case, they're the most competitive. But with these different Allstate plans underneath their rating class, you'll be able to see what rating class that is. So again, I ran a non-household discount. You can see that I have the wearable. And then as I scroll down, they have their standard plan, which is just NA. And then in some states that they would also have that additional preferred or preferred select as that rating class. If you apply those household discounts over here on the left-hand side, that's where you'll start seeing some of these additional rating classes. So these are two plans for all states, but one is the roommate dual, and the dual meaning the husband and wife. So if both that husband and wife have and also do an Allstate Med Supp, and then this one is just they're living with somebody over a particular age. Not both of them have to have that Allstate Med Supp, but those would be the wearable discounts. And then if I continue scrolling, these are just their standard plans that don't have that wearable, which is like that tracking activity tracker device, like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or different things like that. So that's where you would see those multiple plans within here. And then for the rating classes too, if you want to see some additional rating classes, if you move that rate up, you may see like a preferred select as another option within here. They don't offer that preferred select in every single state, so it may just be the state that I ran the quote for. Oh, it's here. So here's where you would see that preferred select as well within that rating class. And here's the wearable without the preferred select. So when you're quoting them, just pay close attention to what you're seeing in that rating class. And if you have any questions on that, we can always kind of help walk you through what that looks like. But the map's taking a while. I know you could, I don't know if I selected the right parameters for all of their different rating classes, especially if it's a 65-year-old. I should have ran like a 67-year-old, but you can come in here and you can run any of those maps that you would like to with that access. So I'm open to taking questions if anyone has any questions. Jason, I'm not sure if you have any questions or if people want to chat. However, we can answer any questions that agents may have.
I don't see any questions in the chat currently. But so you did show us how to get to the Med Supp stuff, but so this is on the left-hand side, you go to Market Edge and then, or from the top, okay.
So once you sign in, this is what your tools look like. So all you have to do is click on the Market Edge, run search. And then once you get into Market Edge, you will have to go up to the very top here where it says go to rate comparison. So when I click go to rate comparison, this is where you do the heat map parameters. There's also a site to Market Edge, which is on the previous screen. that goes over quoting activity and also Medicare demographics. So we can see how many quotes are being ran in certain zip codes. And then we can also see for those zip codes, how many people are over age 65, turning age 65, how many people are on a Med Supp plan versus a Medicare Advantage plan. So that's what is on the other side of the Market Edge tool. So that's why you have to click on the go to rate comparison to do these heat maps.
And you have tutorial videos on the CSG website for these, right?
Yes, we do. So if you go to csgactuarial.com, over on the right-hand side, Learning Center, if you do go to the market data tutorials, we do have some tutorial videos here. So if you wanted to learn more about that quoting activity and Medicare demographics, we have that here. Or we just to go over that rate comparison video, we have that there. If you wanted to watch any other type of tutorial videos, we do have other tutorial videos out here on how to run quotes on our system, how to do e-apps, scopes, all that fun stuff is located right here underneath the Learning Center.
And how much does this cost to use?
It is free for all of your agents.
My favorite answer.
I love free things, don't we all?
Yeah, so regarding those videos, there are so many things these tools will do, and I think we all get used to just running whatever type of quote we do the most frequently and just kind of get in the habit. But sometimes it's worth just clicking around and peeking under the hood, looking at some other options that maybe you don't normally use.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have spoken with people myself that didn't know about the comparison features just on, you know, 2 Med Supps, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot in here, guys, and just dig in, check out the tutorials. I know you've got tons of free time when AEP starts, so, you know, just start watching videos.
Yeah. And if you ever want Med Supp quoting on your website, that's also something that we provide free to all of your agents. So if you want to take these companies that we really highlighted today and place quoting onto your website for your leads or your clients to run quotes, you can do that as well. A lot of agents like to provide that opportunity. But yeah, just using CSG, I think there's a lot of great features within here. One is just the ability to cross-sell on here. So being able to stack multiple plans side by side. So stacking a Med Supp alongside a dental or a Medicare Advantage alongside a hospital indemnity plan. So you can do all those great comparisons. But I really love these heat maps. And I think what's so cool about these maps is that as you hear about these new companies that come into the market, or you hear about these great bonus programs or trips, and you say, I want to qualify for that. I want to get more commission, you know, I want to make more money. And using these maps and trying to figure out where you can expand to write more of those different carriers. So seeing where else they're competitive at to really help you expand your service area instead of having to spend time running a ton of different quotes. I mean, it could take you 2 days to run every single zip code to see if a carrier is competitive or not. So using this very quickly is a huge time saver, definitely.
Yeah. We do have Cindy is asking about a link to put the quoting tools on her site. And Cindy, as long as you have contracts through us or any other integrity partner, just reach out and, you know, we'll help you get that going.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is something that's configured and prepared, and then we'll help you out with that.
Awesome.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, if you think of anything later, please reach out to us and we'll do our best to get you an answer. So Anna, really appreciate your time.
Yep, and we're always available. So if you're starting to run a map and you get stuck or have any questions, we're always available to help as well. Our phone number is listed out on our website, so you can always visit that to get in touch with us.
Okay, well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us, and we'll talk soon. Thanks again, Anna.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.